Okay, I've been given a challenge, which is to search YouTube for proof in God videos, why atheism is a lie, proof the universe is 6,000 years old, and why evolution is wrong, etc. And then basically record my reaction to these videos and give a retort, which is exactly what I'm going to do. However, I'm not going to do this with one video. I've lined up a few videos, which I'm going to knock down one by one, and hopefully you should get some laughs out of that from how stupid, how utterly stupid these people are. Going through YouTube and looking at these videos genuinely infuriates me on so many levels, so I'll try and keep my emotions under control.
A fairy tale, pure and simple. Life from non-life, apart from God's direct intervention, is a fairy tale. But despite that obvious truth, evolutionists continue to build their supposedly scientific case on a foundation that virtually rules out everything that follows after it.
Evolution teaches that energy, such as lightning or heat, plus matter, can occasionally create new life. Yet our entire food industry rests on the fact that this can never happen. If we examine a jar of peanut butter, it contains matter and is exposed to light and heat. But we never find new life inside unless an outside life contaminates it.
If the theory of evolution was viable, then I should occasionally, by subjecting this to energy, end up having new life. Now we go down to the store, and if I open this jar of peanut butter, maybe not often, but on some occasion, I should find new life inside. And so, when we open the jar of peanut butter, we look in there, there's no new life. And aren't you glad, okay? Now, you may smile at this, but hopefully you'll never forget it, because you and I conduct, collectively, over 1 billion experiments every year, and we've done that for virtually 100 years. And we never encounter new life. In fact, the entire food industry of the world depends on the fact that evolution doesn't happen.
Okay, so the problem here is that they've mixed up the definition of what evolution is, which is, and it describes the diversity of life and how favourable traits in organisms are kept in successive generations, whilst the unfavourable ones are rejected, and thus a species can adapt to its environment. That's what it's about. That's what evolution's about. It's about adapting to the environment the organism is in. They're confusing that with abiogenesis. Abiogenesis is the study of how biological life forms from inorganic matter. So instantly we've got a problem here. They obviously don't know the definition of evolution and abiogenesis. So that really says a lot about their credibility, doesn't it? Now, the issue with discussing abiogenesis is that we don't have a solid theory about how it works yet. Now, no, don't get me wrong, we do have evidence supporting certain theories, well, I suppose hypotheses of abiogenesis, but we don't have enough evidence to make a solid framework, i.e. a theory. That's the problem we have. However, just because we don't have an explanation for something does not, it's an extremely warped piece of logic to say, because we can't explain something, we're going to substitute in something without evidence based purely on faith. It's the old argument, we can't explain it, so God must have done it. It's just a terrible thing. It's completely and utterly stunts scientific advancement. If we kept saying that God did it every time we get to a dead end, then we wouldn't get anywhere. We wouldn't have the civilization we have today. We wouldn't have calculators, mobile phones, the computer that I'm talking to right now. We wouldn't have it if that was the mentality we had all those years ago. I'll come back to another evolution video in a minute. The next video I'm going to talk about is more to do with morality. I'm now going to address creationists and fundamental Christians, and many other religions' attitudes towards homosexuality, which quite frankly it's a big issue. And from what I can determine, it all seems to boil down to this one assumption that they seem to be making, and that is homosexuality is a choice, when it is not a choice.
What about the attitudes to gays, for example? That
I personally don't think homosexuality is a good thing. That's my belief being a Christian. I don't think two men should sleep together or two women should sleep together, and I stand by that. What I believe in is obviously coming here collaborating. Before gay people came out and women, this country did not tolerate that.
Was that a better time?
I believe it was a better time. But from the Bible, that these things are not right. It's not good.
The moral mix is Peter.
I would defend Betty's right to hold those views.
Well,
they're her conscientious views. Where I would object is the way in which people like Betty, some people like Betty, seek to impose her morality on everyone else through the law of the land. So they want to make their morality the legal morality that binds us all.
Now, let me answer that.
Let's actually let Betty first. Take Caroline and Craig, and then we'll come to the panel.
I do strongly believe you would not be sitting here if you didn't have a mother. A man and a woman, you are giving birth to fire, a woman, a family together. And so by then, I do believe clearly that being homosexual is not a good thing. It's your choice. You are not forced to be homosexual.
So, Richard Dawkins, are you worried at all by some of the social attitudes that come into this country?
I'm worried when somebody sitting next to a well-known gay activist says, "I believe that you had a mother," and gets a round of applause. Now that's bigotry, and I'm worried about that.
He was given birth to by a woman. It was his choice to be gay. That is what I believe. I believe that to be the truth. And so I don't personally believe that two men should live together or two women should be. That is my belief, and I stand by that.
I don't care what you personally believe.
Stand by that, and I stand by that.
I don't think it's of much interest what you or anybody else personally believes.
Everyone's entitled to their
opinion. What is the evidence?
Yeah.
And there is no evidence that, as you say, you have a choice about being gay or not. You justify what you said on biblical grounds, which sounds awfully much to me like forcing your views upon other people.
I guess what this comes down to. Hang on, let's not get sidetracked too much on this. But what you are one of 10 candidates standing for the position of Mayor of London. Carry on.
Thank you very much. Get Ken Livingston out, that's what I think what we see here is what we heard from Professor Dawkins, that extraordinary arrogance, that if you have some views different from his, your views are not acceptable. There is no such thing. There is no such thing as a vacuum. There are therefore values in the public sphere. The question is whether you have the lady here, the Pentecostal evangelical, with whom I would identify and encourage her to speak out, or you get the arrogance that says her views are not valid. Actually, there have to be some views out there. The question is, can we live together? Can we tolerate each other? Not write one another out like Professor Dawkins was trying to do.
Tolerance and freedom of speech we will come on to, and the right to offend, but surely all our views are valid, aren't they?
No, not necessarily. It depends on the evidence. She made a factual statement about the upbringing of gays and about whether gay people are free to change their minds or not. That is a factual statement. There is evidence bearing on it. That means that personal opinion, which is not informed by evidence, is not of interest.
Very quick question.
Right on, very, very extremely distant relative. Quite far away from my family tree. I don't get when Christians say that homosexuality is a bad thing. I mean, what, if we allow, for example, gay marriage, fire is going to rain down from the sky, children are going to run around kissing each other on the lips and giving each other blowjobs in back alleys.
Oh, won't somebody please think of the children?
I absolutely love the irony of a black woman discriminating gays. History repeats itself in so many subtle ways, doesn't it? Look, even if homosexuality was a choice, it's not doing any harm. None at all. We have increasing evidence to suggest that homosexuality is actually in the genetics of a person and not, by any means, their choice. This implies that it is a natural phenomenon. In fact, we see it in all types of animal groups. We see them in foxes, we see them in bears, we see them in lions, we see this activity in badgers, in dolphins, in birds. We see it all over the animal kingdom. It's not just in humans that we see homosexual relations taking place. It's all over the animal kingdom. Therefore, it's got to be natural. This boils down to a lack of understanding and from taking your moral vector from a book which is 2,000 years old. In Leviticus 20:13, it states, "If a man lies with a man as one has lied with a woman, both of them have done what is detestable, and they must be put to death. Their blood will be on their own heads." Frankly, anyone who believes what I've just read there is either extremely misguided, indoctrinated at a very young age, or quite frankly prejudiced and therefore a moron. And quite frankly, opinions like that should not be allowed to propagate in our society because ultimately they will be detrimental. And anyone who has that sort of opinion on homosexuality is obviously not looking at it from an objective point of view. So frankly, they have no right to tell what gay people can and cannot do. At the end of the day, no one has the right to tell anyone who they can and cannot love.
You're like man.
Okay, but I'm quite conscious of the time here because about 10 minutes has gone by, and I'm sure most people don't want to sit down for 10 minutes and listen to me ramble on. So I'm going to continue this at another part at some point down the line. Also because I'm getting quite close to the deadline and I really want to get this uploaded. So, for now, challenge complete. From there, Elijah went out to Bethel, and as he was walking along the road, some youths came out of the town and jeered at him. "Go on up, you baldhead! Go on up, you baldhead!" they said. He turned around, looked at them, and called down a curse on them, in the name of the Lord. Then 2 bears came out of the woods and mauled the 42 of the youths.